Let me ask you something. Have you ever worked hard and still felt like you were going nowhere? Have you ever tried and still felt like something invisible was pulling you back? Like no matter what you do, no matter how much effort you give, something always gets in the way. You blame the timing, you blame the people around you, you blame luck. But what if none of them were the real problem? What if the one thing standing between you and the life you want has been sleeping next to you every single night? What if the enemy was never out there? What if the enemy was always in here? This is the story of Kabir, 28 years old, a quiet man, hardworking on the outside, broken on the inside. He grew up in a small house with big responsibilities. His father worked long hours. His mother held the family together with tired hands and a strong heart. Kabir watched all of this as a child and made himself one promise. I will build a better life. For them, for me, for all of us. And he meant it, deeply, completely. But life has a way of testing the promises we make to ourselves. By 28, Kabir had tried 3 times to grow. 3 times he had started something, a small business, a skill, a new path forward, and 3 times he had stopped. Not because the world stopped him, but because he stopped himself. He just didn't know it yet. Every time Kabir got close to something real, something good, a voice inside him would wake up. Not a loud voice, a soft one, almost gentle. It would say things like, "You are not educated enough for this. People like you don't succeed in things like this. Your father never made it. What makes you think you will?" And Kabir would stop. Not all at once, slowly, the way a fire dies, not in one blow, but breath by breath until the last ember goes cold. He started sleeping later, waking up with no energy, spending hours doing nothing but feeling heavy inside. People around him noticed. His mother would look at him at the dinner table and say nothing, but her eyes said everything. His best friend Sahil called one afternoon. "Kabir, what is happening with you? You had so much fire before. Where did it go?" Kabir laughed it off. But that night, alone in his room, the question stayed with him. Where did the fire go? That same night, Kabir couldn't sleep. He sat by his window staring at the dark street below. Then he noticed something, his own reflection in the glass. Not clearly, just a shadow, a faint outline of a man sitting still while the world outside moved. He stared at that reflection for a long time, and slowly, one painful thought rose to the surface. The voice that always stopped me, I know that voice. It sounds exactly like my own fears. It speaks in my own words. It knows my weaknesses because it is made of them. That voice is not wisdom. That voice is not caution. That voice is the part of me that is terrified of trying and failing. And I have been letting it lead my entire life. He pressed his hand against the cold glass. His reflection did the same. And for the first time, Kabir looked at himself, really looked, and did not look away. Something changed in Kabir that night. Not his circumstances, not his bank account, not his opportunities. Something deeper changed. He realized that every time he failed, he had blamed something outside himself. Bad timing, bad luck, people who didn't believe in him. But the truth, the real, uncomfortable truth was this. He had been his own judge, his own court, his own verdict. And every time he stood up to try, he had already sentenced himself to failure before he even began. He picked up his phone and opened the Notes app. He typed 3 words. I am enough. Not because it felt true yet, but because he needed to start somewhere. He needed to begin the long, quiet work of becoming his own ally instead of his own enemy. Here is what Kabir learned that night, and what this story wants to leave inside you. The harshest critic in your life is not your boss, not your family, not the world. It is the voice in your own mind that has memorized every mistake you ever made and plays them back every time you try to move forward. That voice is not the truth. It is fear, dressed up as logic, disguised as caution, and you have been trusting it for far too long. The moment you stop fighting the world and start gently, firmly, courageously facing that voice inside, everything begins to shift. Not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, steadily, like a man finally walking in the right direction after years of standing still. Kabir did not fix his life in one night, but he did something more important. He stopped being his own enemy. He looked at his reflection in that dark window and made a new promise. Not to the world, not to his family, to himself. I will not let the voice of my fear be louder than the voice of my purpose. And that one promise, made quietly, in the dark, with no one watching, became the foundation of everything that came after. Maybe tonight, you need to make that same promise. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Tonight. Look at yourself honestly. Find the voice that has been stopping you. Call it what it is. And then, gently, bravely, tell it, not anymore. If this story reached something deep inside you, like, share, and subscribe to The Wise Path. Every story here is made for the person who needed it most.